guys, so I am starting the fire up. Melanie and Darwin from the Honeydew Carpenter are coming over to put the baking oven on top of the rocket stove. I'm super excited and I want to make sure it's warm when it gets here because the bread needs to make one more rise before we can put it in. And so I need to have the cabin really nice and warm. I found this really cool little tripod that sticks to metal things, and guess what my stove is made out of? It's made out of metal. I have all these banana chips that I need to pull off because I have more bananas to put into the dehydrator. What I'm really excited about is with this little oven, I actually could make jerky because the heat in the little oven will get high enough, which it needs to get up to 150 degrees, 160 degrees in order to safely make beef jerky. And so if I clear these off, I can put more banana chips in them, and then if I wanted to make jerky in the little oven, I could make jerky in the little oven. So that's all that's left. We have been snacking on that for like 3 weeks now, and that's what we have left. And now these can go into my food storage. And these are all organic bananas that I got on a really good price. And they just been sitting in the cabin for a couple weeks, and now I'm getting around to them, and they're going to be perfect. And they don't have to be super thin. The little rocket mass heater combined with the fan, as long as you don't mind it taking a few days for them to dehydrate, they can get through something pretty darn thick. Hey, Trouble.
How's it going?
It's raining.
I know.
You got a cute hat, though.
Do you know, I got this from a really awesome person. She made it all by hand. You should check out Dirtpatcheaven. She's amazing.
You're awesome. I can't wait to see it.
It's
Where is
probably
it?
warm in there, isn't it?
What should it not have been? I started it up so we could.
It is.
Okay, because I was worried the bread would
It should have been.
not do what it was supposed to do. Oh, it looks awesome.
There's your metal stand.
That looks awesome.
I screwed up on the door.
How did you screw it up?
Because I forgot that this dropped down around and sat on that.
Oh.
And I made it the full height. So your door is about 1 inch too high.
It just looks like a mailbox instead.
It's just...
It's 1.0.
Yeah, 1.0. That's
1.0.
Off with the fan.
It's going to take a bit for it to cool down, too.
The fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps going.
So excited. Oh, it better fit. I'm not waiting for Christmas again this year.
I know.
Ta-da.
Dude, you made that look easy. Where do you want
I wonder how I got it to fit so good.
Do you want the door facing?
You can have the door facing anywhere.
Right now it's facing the camera, which is good.
Wow. That fits so good. Julie told me 3.5 inches differential, and I did, I think, like 4. So there's a 1/2 inch difference between.
Is it already getting hot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then you see all these holes here? They line up with the inner shroud for the chimney.
That's awesome.
That opens them up and lets air come up through this. There's a 3/4 inch hollow all around with the aircrete insulating it. And that lets air come up here and out these if you want. So you can adjust the fresh air coming in.
You haven't gotten that 5-minute turned off yet?
I can't figure out how to do it. Stupid thing. I haven't really tried. I keep forgetting.
Oh, I'm just barely touching the wall. No big deal. It's already getting warm. Oh, is that open up there? That's the thing that...
You have to push it back to open it, right? Pull front to close it?
Yeah, yeah. So it's pushed.
He's sticking his finger in the hole to double check.
Make sure.
Yeah, well, I just built it. I can't remember what I did. Okay, so it's open, so that'll let some warm air suck out of the shroud. Ooh, that worked.
Hot?
No, it's already. You can just feel the air starting to warm the stuff as it moves it up.
Cool.
Okay, so now that that's starting to get heated, I'm going to shape the bread and let it start raising.
Okay. Well, that was simple.
Where's put the
I caught this on the way in on your plastic, and I ripped the sheet metal
Oh, no.
right back here. We'll have to tape it with some of that aluminum tape.
Okay.
It's not going to get
It's
hot.
1.0, Darwin. Remember, it's 1.0.
Yeah, there are a few things I would... That's with the lid on. I haven't even got the handle on it yet. I'm sorry.
You should be.
I
You're
know.
fired. No more projects for me.
Well, I'm not going to let you do any more projects.
No more
for me
projects. No more projects.
until you can get them right.
It looks awesome. I'm so excited. So excited. So you're going to be making a cookbook for us soon?
Right? I should, huh?
Melanie makes homemade
beautiful.
marshmallows and macaroons and bread.
Yeah, the only problem is right now is the air creek's cold and it has to get warmed up. For
Oh,
it to,
gotcha.
so it'll be a 20.
So the Aircrete, just like the mass. The mass has to heat up, and it can take a while to heat up.
But
All the
air
mass
creek
takes a
shouldn't
while.
Take as long.
Hey, do you have a compost?
Okay, so it's at what?
It's at like 360, 370 right now, and it needs to be at 350. So I'm gonna open the chimney and let some fresh air come around it. I say fresh, but I'm only gonna open it like halfway, and I'm doing it by feeling it. You can feel a little half moon.
Cool. And it's not baking hot in here. It is not uncomfortably warm.
Oh no, it's beautiful.
And the bench is getting warm. So the bench is open.
Yeah, the bench is open.
And it's not comfortably warm. It actually cooled down a little bit in here when you open the bench. It warms, the air warms faster when it's going through the chimney directly. And it cools down for a little bit when you first put it through the bench.
Get some radiant heat off the chimney.
And usually I have the fan on top of the heat riser. And right now it's being trapped by the oven. So the heat's coming out into the room slower now that the oven's on top. With a regular wood stove like this one, the room gets unbearably hot when you cook on it because you have to have a nice hot fire in order for the stove top to get hot. So it gets hotter and miserable when you cook on this one. It got cooler in the room cooking on that one. So you didn't have to make it miserable in order to be able to cook in here.
It actually got cooler. That is a good point.
It got cooler.
And the Aircrete is getting warm all the way around now. It's quite a bit warmer down here than it is up here right now.
Okay.
Because obviously it's...
And is it closed? I guess that would
I have it
matter.
half open.
Oh,
The chimney.
open the chimney back up. Because usually that's when the heat riser, when the shroud really heats up. So I'm just curious to see what happens. Can we take the door off, or is it going to let the Aircrete cool off? Can we take the door off and just kind of watch and see?
Cool off because I have the chimney open. So the chimney right now is going to flue air, the hot, superheated air from under the shroud. You see, here's 2 holes that I got a little bit. I made too many. I put them every 2 inches. But there's holes every 2 inches. And when you open this chimney, it draws air up around like that. Oh,
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Not wasted.
And then, is it ready? Can I put my bread in? Or do I need a minute?
You're right at 350.
Yeah, we are. There we go. Okay.
That poor
And then
bread has been moved and moved and moved.
Right? It's prepper bread. Doing it on the run. Okay, so we now have like what, half hour?
Yes. We need to set a timer for a half hour and
it's going through the bench now, right?
and hope that it doesn't
It's going
raise.
through the chimney.
Yeah, it's going through. So it's going to keep heating up. So we should probably open it to the bench,
Yeah.
and that'll
We need
regulate
to
it.
raise. We don't want it to get super hot in there. We need.
To open the vent a little bit.
Yeah, we need it at 350.
Water in the door.
Yeah, it does need it. thermometer in the door. I was gonna give you the one off my smoker, but then I thought, no.
It's more important than an
they're-
ice cream
they're-
maker.
I think you could buy them for like $3.50.
Yeah, they're not very much. They're only like.
Sometimes it's just that trip to the store, though, that's the extra where you're like, dang it, I've been working on this for
Being
forever.
lazy.
But he doesn't want to ruin his smoker. But the ice cream maker's very.
It is.
I just borrowed it. I'll give it back. You can clean it up and wash it. We could have had it in the center of the oven.
It's not. I don't have the hollow sound yet. It might not be totally. Well,
Oh, it's springing back, though.
yeah, it is screaming.
Instead of...
It might be done.
Yeah, we're
But you-
So your pizza stone would be the perfect thing to have there to help it
Yeah,
block some of that heat.
And it would disperse it evenly.
I think.
Can we just pop it up and look at the bottom?
I'm gonna try cutting into it a
Mhm.
little bit and seeing. Do
Well,
you?
it's brown.
I was thinking of almost leaving this here, the pan here if you want.
Oh, it's not too brown, though.
Nope. But it definitely is really hot on the bottom compared to the rest.
It was
Right?
only an inch off of the bottom.
Mm.
If we would have had it in the middle of the oven.
Or if the soapstone had been underneath the shelf to block some of that heat.
Yeah. Because let's check the temp right now. Yeah, we're at 370. And it was... So it's a little hot.
Don't you love cutting hot bread?
Huh?
Don't you love cutting hot bread?
Yeah. Is it hot?
Yeah.
Here. Let me do it. See. I have welder's hands. Here, I'll just hold the plate.
If we
Oh,
waited
it's
for a
done.
minute-
Look at that. Look at those air bubbles in there. It baked really even. See all those air bubbles?
it did.
If we could cut it and, it wasn't too hot.
Right? Oh, listen to that.
We did
Oh.
get some crunchy.
Oh, look at it steaming. I'll bet that's so good.
That is beautiful bread.
Mmm. It is good.
Darwin, I need something that looks personable.
I'm eating bread baked in an oven that I just barely finished and stuck on top of your rocket stove. Life is good.
It is. Life is good. I hope.
Right. And you guys are going.
Hey guys, so Honeydew Carpenter again. He has stolen the show. I have my bread oven, and it actually looks really nice with the door down. And we just put the little fan in it. It's still running, and it's because it's kind of directional now. It's actually blowing heat towards the kitchen, which is the only spot that really doesn't get toasty quickly. So now it looks like it's going to get toasty.
Yeah.
And the bread was monumental. It smells really good.
Yeah. What is really encouraging to me, though, is we put it through the bench and let it just set with the door closed, and it stayed about 370 degrees. Okay, so it's holding the heat really well. And so that was really encouraging. Julie likes it, the look of it a little bit better with the door off, and so does Melanie. So.
And then you can still use the fan.
And she can still use her fan, and so it's all good. It just draws fresh air in up here to the back of the fan and pushes it out down here.
And right now
Beautiful.
the oven is sitting at about 240 degrees. The oven itself is 240 with the fan going.
If you put that temperature thing flat, it
Mhm.
would give you more
A
of
lot
a temperature.
hotter.
Yeah,
On the base.
on the base. But
So the nice thing about this is, though, that with the oven on there, if you were using a conventional wood cook stove, you have to ultra heat your house. It takes a lot of heat to get an oven warm enough to cook with in a wood burning stove, and for the cooktop to be warm enough. It just about bakes you out. When we put the oven on and closed the door, it got cooler in the cabin because it was containing all that heat that was coming off the heat riser. It held it in the oven. So it dropped by like 5 degrees.
and then when we ran it through the bench,
Yeah.
it even dropped it more. So you're sitting here with a stove good enough to bake with, and you don't have to bake yourself out of your cabin to do it.
The temperature dropped.
Yeah, that
which
is awesome.
Mind blowing. We sat in here. It's quite a bit warmer now in the last 5 minutes because we opened the door, we put the fan in, and we sent the heat up the chimney instead of into the bench. And so the thing I love about this stove is that using the
it's getting hot.
using the valve, you can actually very precisely control the heat. You put in one stick of wood, you open up the chimney to go out in order to heat things up very quickly. And you have to be careful. If you open it out through the chimney, it'll get to 700 degrees on the top of that heat riser. If you close it and make it go through the bench, it drops down to 350. So the reason that he's able to do this and it actually drops the temperature is that there is aircrete in the oven. It's not just aluminum that has air moving back and forth. It's insulated with the aircrete, and so is the door. I don't know if I can pick it up if it's still hot. Hold on a second, guys. I'll try to show it to you.
Yeah.
So here's the door. I'm infamous for dropping things, so I'll try to be really careful. So this has aircrete. It's really hot still.
Oh, it's not too bad. Yeah, see, it's got aircrete. You can see it in the bottom.
Yeah. So it's...
And the door weighs about, 4 pounds or so.
Yeah, it's not heavy at all.
If that were a slab of concrete, that would not be fun to pick up.
So if you had just plain aluminum, it wouldn't hold the heat in. It would still be radiating out into the room. You'd be really dependent on how hot the heat riser was, instead of depending on warmish air coming in and just being held at the right temperature.
Right. We're able to literally regulate the temperature with the chimney. I can open and close the flue up top, which allows us to determine how much air flows up and around it of fresh air. But anyways, guys, what's made this whole thing possible is really Julie. She wanted me to build this stove for her, and she put all these ridiculous parameters on it that nobody had done before. And so I ended up just inventing a tool, a small scale foam generation device, so I could make lighter weight refractory type stuff to put around her stove. That was my whole idea behind doing it. And it's just morphed into a whole DIY channel. I mean, I've done insulated aircrete chimney system, which is what makes this whole system even work. It would not work without it, because it didn't work.
It didn't work without it.
Right. And then we've got the aircrete insulated oven. And
the garden.
Yeah, we've got the aircrete mixed with cob blocks that we're doing a raised garden bed with. I should, within 2 days, have a PDF out on a DIY how to build an aircrete insulated pizza oven for yourself.
And how much did it cost in materials, do you think, for the whole thing?
I had about $35 in metal, but I only used half of it. So, and I have 325 pop rivets in it. So that was about $15. You're under $40-50 to build this whole thing.
And people can get the PDF for the foamate. You don't have to buy the...
And I mean, I had to make this special steel thing to go over the top of her rocket stove, but it'll work on any flat surface.
So if I put this on my Camp Chef, on my propane stove, would you still put in with that direct heat, would you put in a pizza stone on top of that propane? What do you do?
No, I would put a piece of steel, flat steel.
Use the same platform here when I use my Camp Chef. Use this.
Yeah,
so that it's not overheating it.
Right.
Okay. All right, so go check out their channel, The Honeydew Carpenter. Go check out their Etsy store. They have the foamate PDF so that you can make your own.
Yeah, you need a foamate to do this project anyway. So go check out a PDF on how to build one for yourself, or I'd be happy to make one for you. And I make them real economically, so.
Yeah, and you don't need to know how to weld in order to be able to put the oven together. He didn't weld it. No. He used tin snips. And
a $4 pop rivet gun. Literally, a $4 pop rivet gun.
Yep.
Just the cheapest one you can fine. It's really lightweight, so.
I know, I'm getting totally...
Did you? Okay, so we're
Julie's
gonna
cooking
close.
this
You
out.
didn't turn it off, right?
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna close the bench, and that'll make a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's just getting hot in here. It's doing a good job.
And we're done.
This is a little shelf that we use for dehydrating things on the wood burning stove. You put little cookie sheets in it, and it will fit perfectly into the oven so that I can put in multiple trays. So let's see if it fits. Looks like it fits. These are the cookie sheets that fits in it. You can just get these at secondhand stores. I'm gonna wipe this one down and see if I can make some biscuits. So I'm gonna close it up and let it warm for a bit until I have the biscuits ready. This is Paul Wheaton's Partners biscuit recipe, Jocelyn, and it is really good. And I think she took hers from Laurel's Kitchen.